We're going to start today with Joel's story. Imagine this. Imagine losing a friend to cancer. Imagine if that friend was only 19 years old. Joel Lawrence was studying at Hereford College of Technology when stomach cancer tragically took his life. Kyle Williams was Joel's friend. Now Kyle is taking on a mammoth challenge, and it is a mammoth challenge as well, to keep alive Joel's memory and to fill his mate's dying wish. Let's meet Kyle, shall we? Hi, Kyle.
Hi, Malcolm. Yeah. Thank you for having me on the show.
Not at all. Thank you for coming in. Tell me about Joel. What was he like?
Joel, he's a star. He really was. He was very tall. He was about 6 foot tall and had long, kind of scraggly hair. And we, a bit like a big friendly giant, so to speak. He was very calm, very polite, and extremely, extremely generous. And very sadly lost his life in 2010 from stomach cancer.
It's an awful story, Kyle. How was it for you? How did you feel?
To be honest, I was quite young at the time. I was about 17, and to come to terms with something like that, it was very difficult, especially being a teenager. It was very hard to digest. It really sunk in when we went to see him at Gloucester after he had his stomach removed, Christmas time. That was when it was kind of like your friend was lying in hospital. He had his reindeer antlers on his head and was as happy as possible, but underneath all the kind of happiness that was there at that time, you knew that he really didn't have long left to live, and there's just nothing you can do about that. So
cancer's horrible, isn't it? It doesn't care who it affects, but when your mate's 19 and he's there in bed with his reindeer antlers on, trying to make the most of things, and you know he hasn't got long left. That's cruel, isn't it?
Yeah, it's horrible.
How did it affect his family, Kyle?
It was emotionally draining, but also it was extremely difficult financially due to the fact that Joel's treatment took place in 4 different cities across 3 different counties since his diagnosis in 2009. So, as you can imagine, it involved a lot of travelling and a lot of accommodation and expenses.
It's really tough, that, isn't it? Because the family's going through enough, thank you very much indeed. But to do I think they call it cancer miles, don't they? To do all those miles so Joel could get treatment, that's almost too much to take in, almost too much to bear, and certainly too much to bear on the pocket, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And the fact that Joel's mother was a qualified nurse herself, and she took time off work to care for Joel, but also during Joel's illness, Joel's father, John Lawrence, actually had to work through it in order to be able to pay for the travel and the accommodation. I mean, it was travelling from where Joel was in Ludlow, travelling up to Shrewsbury Hospital, travelling to Hereford Hospital, travelling to Gloucester, and even as far as Cheltenham for his treatment with chemotherapy, and obviously his stomach removal in Gloucestershire. So it was extremely, extremely tough. But fortunately for Joel's parents, his family were in a situation where they were able to help with financially and support them financially. However, obviously not everyone's as lucky as that, and not everyone has that. So,
and that's why you've set up this charity, Joel's Wish, isn't it, Kyle?
That's it. Yes, Joel's Wish. It was Joel's dying wish. That originally in 2010 funds were raised to support the hospice in Shrewsbury who looked after him, but in 2014 Joel's Wish became a registered charity, and it now provides support services for 19 to 30-year-olds in Shropshire and Herefordshire with a life-limiting cancer diagnosis.
Doesn't that say a great deal about your mate, that his dying wish was actually to help other people?
Yes, absolutely. That sums up Joel completely. I mean, we was a large group of friends, and by that I mean there was about 10, 15 of us, and we all used to go out together. And if one had an argument, or if the group there was a bit of a misunderstanding, Joel would always be the person who would sort things out. He was like the guru everyone went to. I mean, he's such a genuinely nice guy, and also a very talented chef as well. Extremely talented chef.
It's lovely the way you're talking about him this morning. You speak very fondly of your pal. I bet you can almost see his face as you speak about him, can't you?
Yeah, I just hope he's proud of, which I'm sure he is, proud of what's been done in the communities for him. So.
Well, I'm sure he's proud of you because you're off. I called it a mammoth task, and it is. Tell us what you're doing for Joel's Wish, Kyle.
Yeah, I'm going to be cycling 4,000 miles across 15 states from San Francisco to New York in April. Yeah, it's going to be 40 days worth of cycling, and I'm gonna be cycling it. And Rich Clark, George Jacks, and Mike Baker will be accompanying me in a support vehicle.
That's 4,000 miles, is it, across America on a bike?
Only 4,000.
Okay, since you put it like that, God, are you ready for this? Are you prepared? You've obviously had to do a lot of training, have you?
I've been training since April last year, so I've been under the guidance of Mark Warren Training, who's a professional triathlete, and he's put me on a very strict training regime, 7 days a week, AM and PM. So I'm very tired from it, but I'm used to cycling long distances because, in fact, in 2012 I cycled from Ludlow to France for Joel's Wish as well. But this time it's it's a bit further, but I'm ready for it. So,
what are you looking forward to, and what are you dreading about this ride?
I'm looking forward to arriving in New York.
Yeah, that'll be good on a bike. Yeah.
I actually, the thing that I love about cycling is being out on my own on the bike, surrounded by nothing, and your head just goes into these weird and wonderful places. So I'm looking forward to that. What I'm absolutely dreading most is I've worked out that the total climb from San Francisco to New York is the equivalent of cycling up Mount Everest 4 times. So the climbing aspect is going to be very tough indeed over the Rocky Mountains and through Utah and Nevada. So
I'm tempted to say rather you than me, but listen, when I think about the charity, when I think about your pal, who I never knew, when I think about his dying wish, and when I hear you speak about him, it's all going to be worthwhile, isn't it?
Absolutely. Already, I mean, a lot of people, since 2010, since Joel passed away, a lot of people have put in a substantial amount of effort and have already raised £60,000 in 5 years, which is absolutely incredible. So you have to take your hats off to everybody who knew Joel and everybody who has done something for it. It's absolutely incredible, and to see Joel's Wish in this light, he'd be so proud. I couldn't be any more proud of myself to be able to take on this challenge of cycling across America in his memory.
And you know what, Kyle? This is the thing. You, through Joel, you are keeping his memory alive, but also you are making a real difference to those families sadly affected, like Joel's family was.
Well, that's it, yeah. It's weird because I, like I said, I was quite young, and it was very difficult to take in. But actually, I've learnt now that in life, there are very difficult times, but the best way to deal with them is by trying your very best to focus on any positives that you can take from it. And if I can cycle across America, or if someone can raise £50 from a coffee morning, and that's going to directly contribute to someone's personal welfare during an incredibly difficult time and make them moments precious, then that's a result, and that's something that you should feel proud of. So,
well said. You go in April. How can we help you, Kyle?
Well, you can sponsor the ride by visiting justgiving.co.uk/Joel's-Wish-USA, or alternatively, you can text Joel53 to 770, and that will obviously be a donation to the cycle ride. And for any further information about Joel's Wish and the cycle ride itself, you can visit joelswish.org, and that has pretty much everything from the route. You can get into interactive maps, live blogs. You can donate through there, and it's got everything about Joel and what Joel's Wish offers as well.
How much can you raise here?
We're looking at £75,000. And we're actually in partnership with the Rotary Club in Ludlow, who are going to be contacting people in America, Rotary clubs in America, and holding fundraising events, contacting press. So we're looking to actually make this a huge, huge event, and we want as much support as possible.
And when will you be back?
We'll be back in June the 10th. We finish.
Kyle, it's been lovely speaking to you this morning. You've told me about how proud you feel doing this for Joel's wish, but I think Joel would be very, very proud of you. I think you're a fine young man. I really do.
Thank you.
No, not at all.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
No, thank you very much for your time this morning.
How about that? His name's Kyle. He's going to raise £75,000 for his mate. Didn't he speak well? Kyle Williams. Joel was 19 when he passed away. He'd be proud of his pal, don't you think?